But actually, that's one of the things, like expectations and all that stuff. Like I never thought that so many tattooers were bonkers in their mind. Like so many extreme types of people. People can be humble and great at what they do and like kind and all that, but so many extreme types of people, you know.
I was talking with one guy who was into organizing some tattoo convention, and he said, he was like, yeah, like I thought you tattooists are all about like, creating stuff and doing cool tattoos, but said like there were people demanding prizes. That he said there were tattooists going and it's like, listen, I paid this much for the booth in a tattoo convention,
Yeah.
so I expect something back. He's like, but there's like 50 other people. It's
yeah.
like you show your work. He's like, I came here to get a prize. It's like, ooh. Good.
I paid something to be here, so I need them back. Kind of.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Where's my money?
That's a bit extreme. Like,
but and he said
you get a chance to get somewhere, and then I want.
He said it wasn't like a dude who did it. He said that was like overall vibe. Like people are like, listen,
complaining.
I'm the shit. I came here. I paid you money. I'm expecting some.
I need applause when I stand up. I need rose petals sprinkled wherever I go.
That's maybe when you get all those weird competitions. There's best realistic, best black and gray, best big piece, best small piece, funny piece, strangest of the day, like, funky little something.
I think then you get like, you get electrocuted in your brain, kind of. You think I have to do something wild.
Here's a prize for 12th place. And diploma.
Here you go. Yeah.
And a chocolate medal. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also in tattooing a lot of people who's very professional and very.
But it's just funny. Like, I think in this business, like, I don't know anybody from like straight art world, like people just painting. So maybe they also a bit like eccentric and crazy. They might be, but a lot of creative people typically are. But in this business, they can just show it off a bit more, I think. Because it's still more of a everyday job than being a painter. It's more on a, you get something ordered and you have to do it in a certain amount of time. So,
I don't know about art stuff, how they, I just imagine they just paint all the time.
Yeah, but they also do it on like commission, or like they get an order and they have to do something. But this is like everyday stuff, and it's everything. It's from small tattoos to big ones, and I think maybe that's why so many tattooists like to express themselves. Also through their art, but you also have to be iconic.
In this environment, like you said, it's maybe a bit more artistic, so it's maybe a bit more okay to complain and or show that you are upset about something, like your idea is not being accepted or something. But also, no one's that upset that they're like, fuck it, I'm not tattooing. Like, this is not for me. I think this is...
sometimes people... I've worked with somebody that's so dramatic that they like threw things away and like went off, then came back the same day.
Yeah, but they came back like... I also worked with dude...
Yeah, they come back next day and like, so everything is forgotten and all that stuff, but...
Like, I worked with a dude who walked off the shop and being all like throwing stuff around, or... There's one dude, like, I know he's like on Instagram posting every half a year, like this is it. I decided to quit with tattooing. Now now I only do like art or something. But
then like a couple weeks at most goes, and
I think
and then
first of all, well, not first of all. First of all, you spend enough time to learn this and work in it, that you can just like, I'll quit and go to work as a salesperson in a shop or something. Other thing that it's still like, like I said, people like to complain, and like we also often do, but also it's pretty comfortable job. It's pretty gives you enough freedom. Like you can travel also in the future, or like depends on what state
like you can pretty much do whatever you want if that's what you want. But you can also stay same place all the time. But I think why we see all this complaining and bitching is because we're not in other jobs as well. I think people complaining everywhere, on like a lot of workplaces, they have like this abusive behavior towards colleagues. Like they kind of pick on each other so much, so they get like stressed and don't want to go to work and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not happening here because like we have so many strong like independent people, so I don't think
and also
I don't think you can bully them.
In worst case, like if you get fed up, you still go there and you're like, I'm just gonna focus on my stuff and like I don't care about anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you are starting tattooing or considering starting tattooing,
you're getting bullied, it's fine.
Expect a lot of ups and downs and all that. So like everything might not hold up to your expectations and dreams, and they might be crushed a little bit or even a lot, depends on what you're hoping for. But you'll be fine.
Especially about that apprenticeship, because you can go around and find apprenticeship, but that's not necessarily a good apprenticeship,
Yeah.
Like what they say may or may not be true. Maybe they a bit worse than what they say, and you just think of everything they say as being the best.
Yeah, you have
to question things.
The whole picture.
Yeah, and you have to like see the work. You have to do research. You have to think a lot for yourself.
And none of the places will be like, well, we're actually mediocre.
Exactly. Like, nobody will say, no, actually, you should go across the street because they're amazing. We suck at everything.
Yeah, and there's also those like.
But that's also it gets in your skin if you study a bit of tattooing. You know, like what a good line looks like. You know how shading looks and all that stuff, so you can see it in your master's.
And also, I recommend to like critically compare works. Reviews, people, because they might be amazing artists, but if you go in that place and like they just all dicks, like maybe not dicks in general, but they dicks in your opinion, and you will just hate your life being there.
Yeah, because ask people for what they think of your work, and you should not be angry with like criticism. Like you should applaud it, or you should be thankful that people tell you what they know about your work and how to improve it to get you to be better,
Yeah, and sometimes you can be amazing artist, but it's just not what shops are looking for, because like,
exactly,
just because you can paint apples and vases all day long, also, it doesn't translate into tattooing.
We've seen it also, like people that's super amazing as artists may not be what shops need, and you
or maybe they're looking for somebody with potential and realistic stuff, because that's what the shop is doing, and they don't care that you are drawing like manga or like copying traditional tattoo designs or something.
Exactly, maybe, yeah.
Well, that's if it's a good job, like you can learn, but like I'm speaking in terms that it's not direction that they're looking for.
Exactly. So that's something you have to find out for yourself, kind of.
Yeah, I think in tattooing also, like what can crush your hopes and dreams is like that criticism, because like obviously when you do something you think, often like look what I draw, and then somebody is like, no, this is
also maybe you feel so satisfied about that tattoo, but you don't know what a few like twitches and like things it can be so much better. You just see it as like, I put my heart in this and I love it myself so much, and then other people saying, you messed up in a corner, or you did something wrong, or you should have used a different color or something.
Well, unless you're one of them people who can't take any criticism and you think every crap you do is amazing, but often I hear from many tattooists, like they look back on their portfolios and they're like, oh my god, like
Yeah, that's the best thing, to look back and see, oh my god, what the fuck did I drew, or how stupid was I to do it like that, or
like the first shop I worked, the owner, he was like looking through his old portfolio, and I was like, he's like looking, and he's like very thoughtful, and he's like, I think if I would come to ask for work with this portfolio, I wouldn't have a chance. Yeah.
I think it's funny to find old drawings and then redraw them, trying to do the same one again, just how you would it now, and see the difference, and then you have them two drawings, and later you can like see it again and see the difference and see what you like the more, and
Oh man, I think like I always
It's funny like that.
If it's something bigger, I kind of struggle through it, and I'm so like, oh, finally I did it. So if I have to do that again, I would just like be depressed.
You know, you can do.
Imagine I do it and it's worse than the first one. Like,
yeah, also because you don't want to do it again. You know, when you get 2 of the same tattoos, you at the second one you think, oh my god, I have to do all of it again. But you don't have to choose a big drawing to copy.
Yeah,
you can
maybe
just do a small one. You know, just roses are a good thing. Draw a rose how you feel now, and then 5 years from now, take your last rose reference and look at it and see like, okay, I did something else.
I'm scared. No.
Be like,
I would do it.
what I did before was not roses.
I don't want to end up.
It's like
It's cabbage.
weird.
Oh, somebody have a vegetable tattooed on themselves.
Ah, good. I love cabbage. So.
Well, yeah, and also like with tattooing is that enthusiasm when you grab any chance you can with a can-do attitude, and like I think I was lucky starting in the shops because like, you know, I got into that tattooing because all my friends who are tattooing, they're like, I think you should do it, and I had all the wise advices.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of dudes who just started. Then you have like, okay, I wish I had all those friends to tattoo, but they are tattooed by my other friends, tattooists.
Yeah, so it's difficult.
Yeah, but they grab these big back pieces and they do these. It's weird stuff. Like if you would see it now, you would look at it and it's back pieces of something when you look at it.
Oh.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like. Also, if we have to give a bit of advice, then yeah, don't aim too big. Don't aim too much on your style. Just enjoy tattooing for what it is. You know, it should be fun, and you should find fun in all tattoos. Like also, until recently, I thought that like script tattoos was also a lot of fun because you have to do something very precise, and you know it's fun and kind of easy to do, and it's a quick tattoo, so you have a blast with your client, and you can send them off with a smile, you know, because it wasn't that bad for him. So like I really used to enjoy like text tattoos and small things.
They're a lot of focusing because like they need to look the same, especially all the font stuff.
Exactly, it have to be something, but that's also like good training, and you have to
also things too
yourself.
small. Like if you're just starting, it's like a bit like you can't even get used to it by the time you're done, and then you're like, oh, last letter went super.
That A was. Oh.
Okay, apart from focusing on your own style, like now with this new age and new generations of tattooists, there's a lot of people who go from art world into tattooing. So there's a lot of these like graphic designers and all that stuff. So they've been developing their own style in that artwork, and they often doing just that, and they do it good. And like if they have enough work, then maybe they should stick to it. Maybe they will not be kind of super respected from some like old school tattooists.
No, because that's also a thing. Yeah, if you learn from a younger tattooer and you just learned what they do, you don't really know how that tattoo will act, you know, through the age and all that stuff. So maybe it looks super cool now and it's amazing art, but
I mean,
if you know how it will be.
If you want to push things forward, you should try things, but also like I'm in that term. So if you do something and you do it good, then okay, learn, but be like careful. Cause
I think you should, you know, embrace all the different styles and techniques. You should at least try to learn it, master it if you can, just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, no,
because
I mean
then you can. Afterwards, you can have your own opinion about it.
Exactly.
If you know everything about it, then you can have your own opinion.
I mean, in terms of like, oh yeah, I'm doing this stuff good, I'll just try that. Because I've seen dudes who doing like all that etching stuff, and then they kind of like take something old schoolish, and that's because like I've seen dot worky and etchy stuff, and they do some like realistic approach, and it looks okay because it's just a bit different technique and all that. But then they do some other styles, and it's like,
and it's super weird.
You should not have done it, you know.
Yeah, so that's also like learn basics of every style would be like key, and then you can choose whatever you like, if you like it or not. But just know it
instead of imagining and figuring out your own.
Yeah, and instead of saying, no, I don't think it's for me, then try it and see. Like,
learn.
It's not for me because of this, you know.
Learn all the aspects and then choose the ones that are for you, not just figuring out, this is my stuff, I'll focus on it, and that's it.
But maybe you're so unlucky that you're working in a place where people want realistic work done, and you really want to do old school, but you just have to do realistic because nobody else is there. So maybe you unlucky.
In those interviews, I talked to people who like their stuff was like realistic. Like they've been drawing realistic stuff and they enjoy realistic, but they got apprenticeship in like traditionally orientated shop, and they end up doing like neo-traditional.
Yeah.
Because in that apprenticeship, they were like doing all that traditional lines and all that. Their mindset is more unrealistic.
But then they just add fat lines around realistic things, and boom, you have it.
Whoa, that's the stuff. And I think like if they need, they could do realistic or they could do old school because they learned that stuff.
It also depends. Yeah, if you learn from an old school guy, then you know that lines have to be there to hold. So you just put lines around your pretty face, and then boom, you have it. Like everybody is happy. You did realistic shading. You get fat lines. And boom,
also,
boom,
like
boom,
I think that why is the lines and how lines should look? Because like I think again, when people are doing one style and then they trying, and often I see with people who start just tattooing, just any style, like like I'll start tattooing, and then they do traditional, and it just looks like weird because I think in their mindset is like, I just take my same drawing, do black lines around it and all that, and then you see that line is not really a good line, and it's them that they look a bit off. You always look like
there's so many rules in them old things. Like maybe it wasn't like that in the beginning, but now you know that if you do something a bit off, then it doesn't look authentic anymore. You know, you have to be super precise. Also with Japanese stuff, like you can't just take your own spin on a dragon head, because then it's not Japanese anymore. Then it's just a dragon head. But
there's a lot of these angry koi fishes.
Yeah, exactly. You think like, oh, what the hell is this?
It's a angry shiny fish. Like I always like white eyes.
Yeah.
They have these face expressions and they shine, and it's like
okay.
I see what you tried to do.
Yeah, I love it when people do them like 90s koi fishes, like super
or the
odd
ones
looking. Like body is misshaped, and
with
also with the fins,
back.
and
it's like
just do a bit of research. Look how it's done. Do it right.
Or look at a fish.
Yeah.
Like it's fishes.
I like that.
Carp is like this. Carp is not like that. It's not like a carp and then dolphin's tail.
Exactly, or like them.
The fin goes on the side.
Yeah. It could be a hybrid. You never know.
Dolphin carp. Carp fin.
Del carp.
That one. On that note, let's wrap this thing up.
We'll put the link in description below about that dolphin carp.
If everyone have seen dolphin carp,
please take a picture and let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Send to our email. We have email, so you can find it somewhere in the description.
It's mail. That thing, Snabele.
Snabele. That's at for on Danish. Question of the day.
What?
We
have questions?
Question of the day. What do you expect from tattooing? What's your hopes and dreams if you are starting tattoo artist? If you are just a tattoo enthusiast, what are you imagining tattoo work is like? Maybe
tell how long you've been trying, how you started, what you want to do when you finish.
And is any of your dreams crushed?
Did you start? Why didn't you start? If you did start, why? Let us know.
Start now or stop now. Depends on what point you are.
You could just yeah.